The lesson of suffering. There are nights when we sit quietly in the dark, feeling that life is nothing but a long, unfair road. People hurt us, hardships surround us. Everything seems to fall apart before our eyes, and we ask ourselves, why must I suffer so much? What did I do wrong? But my friend, it is exactly in those moments of despair that the seed of wisdom begins to sprout. The Buddha once said, "Suffering is a deep lesson that helps us grow." If life were only filled with sunshine, no one would ever look deeply into themselves. It is the storms of suffering that reveal the cracks within our hearts. And through those cracks, the light of understanding can enter. A lotus cannot grow on dry rock. It must rise from the depths of muddy water. Every pain we experience, whether big or small, is a kind of mud. But when seen with mindful eyes, we realize that even in the mud lies the fragrance of transformation. In the scriptures, there is a story about Venerable Ananda, the Buddha's devoted attendant. One day, upon seeing a poor woman weeping over her only child who had died, Ananda, filled with compassion, asked the Buddha, "Lord, why is there so much sorrow in this world?" The Buddha smiled and replied, "The tears shed by beings in samsara are more than the waters of the four oceans." A simple sentence, yet it carries a profound truth. Suffering is part of existence, not to make us despair, but to awaken us. No one can escape suffering. Even the Buddha, the enlightened one, walked through the depths of pain. Born in a palace of luxury, he still could not find true happiness. He saw the realities of birth, aging, sickness, and death, and eventually left everything behind to seek the path of liberation. It was through understanding suffering that he found the way to peace. Without suffering, there would be no Buddha. Without tears, there would be no Dharma shining upon the world. From the eyes of the ordinary, suffering looks like misfortune, but from the eyes of wisdom, it is a teacher. We are all students in the great school of life, and suffering is the strictest of teachers. Those who have never suffered, never lost, often do not truly understand the value of peace and joy. Those who have never cried may not know how precious a smile is. After great pain, some people become gentler, more compassionate, and wiser, because they have been forged in the fire of suffering. There was a story the Buddha once told about a grieving mother who lost her child. She clung to her child's body for days, refusing to let go. Desperate, she came to the Buddha, begging him to bring her child back to life. The Buddha said gently, "Bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a household where no one has ever died." The woman searched every house, but in each, someone had passed away. When she returned, she cried and said, "I understand now. Everyone must die." At that moment, she laid her child down and began to awaken. Suffering was no longer punishment. It became understanding. Each of us will one day lose a child of our own, a loved one, a dream, or a belief. But instead of despair, we can learn, as that mother did, to see that suffering is simply part of life's natural flow. Only when we understand impermanence do we cherish every moment that remains. Only when we touch pain do we know what true love is. Suffering doesn't disappear by blaming others. It dissolves when we stop running, sit quietly, and look deeply with mindfulness. When the mind stops stirring, the water becomes still, and the moon can reflect clearly. So it is with the heart. Only when it's calm can we see the nature of suffering. Modern life teaches us to escape pain through work, social media, shopping, and endless distractions. But the more we run away, the deeper the pain becomes. Suffering doesn't come to harm us. It comes to call us home. When you feel hurt, don't rush to blame others. Ask instead, why do I react this way? What is missing in me that this pain shakes me so deeply? Change your question, and your life will change. A Zen master once said, "Suffering is a noble guest. If you welcome it with awareness, it will leave behind the gift of wisdom." So when pain knocks, smile gently and say, "Thank you for arriving right on time," because that very attitude is the first step toward awakening. And as the Buddha taught, Grow through what you go through. Pain does not defeat us. Only our refusal to learn from it does. Those who can transform suffering are no longer afraid of life, for they know that even in darkness, light can still be born from the heart itself. Why we suffer. Everyone knows what suffering is, but few truly understand why they suffer or how to free themselves from it. The Buddha called this the first noble truth. Life is suffering. At first it may sound pessimistic, but in truth it is the first doorway to peace, for only by recognizing our wounds can we begin to heal them. Human beings suffer because we constantly want things to go our way, while life itself is impermanent. When desire and reality collide, pain is born. We want others to love us, but they leave. We want success, but we fail. We want youth to last forever, but time moves on without mercy. Every form of suffering begins with attachment. Attachment to the body, to emotions, to possessions, to others, and to the idea of I and mine. The Buddha taught, from attachment comes sorrow, from attachment comes fear. One who is free from attachment has no sorrow and no fear. When we love something too much, we also suffer because of it. Love itself isn't wrong. The problem is unawareness. We love to possess, not to understand. When what we love changes or disappears, we collapse. But the source of pain is not in people or events. It lies in our grasping mind. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you open your palm, the sand rests quietly. So it is with life. The more tightly we hold, the more we lose. But when we let go, we gain peace. That is the paradox of life, one the Buddha saw clearly over 2,500 years ago. In the middle-length discourses, the Buddha told a story of a man struck by a poisoned arrow. Instead of asking for help to remove it, the man said, "Who shot me? What is the arrow made of? From what direction did it come?" The Buddha explained, if he keeps asking, the poison will spread through his body before he finds the answer. This is the human condition. We suffer not because of pain itself, but because we refuse to face it directly. We keep searching for someone to blame, other people, fate, circumstances, while the true arrow lies within us. Greed, anger, and ignorance. Greed makes us endlessly crave. Anger burns when we don't get our way. Ignorance blinds us to the truth. These three poisons destroy inner peace like a slow fire consuming the heart. The more we chase happiness outside, the farther we drift from true happiness. Because peace doesn't come from having more, but from understanding deeply. When we understand that everything changes, the mind begins to soften and let go. Once, a man came to the Buddha and lamented about his life. His work was failing, his children disobedient, his marriage broken, his health fading. He pleaded, "Please, Master, help me end my suffering." The Buddha said, "I cannot do that." The man was shocked. "You are the enlightened one. How can you not?" The Buddha smiled and replied, "Everyone born into this world has 83 problems. When one disappears, another takes its place. I cannot make your problems vanish, but I can teach you how not to suffer because of them. That is the difference between the ignorant and the awakened. The ignorant seek to end pain by changing circumstances. The wise end pain by changing their perception. Most people think the end of suffering means getting everything they want. But the Buddha said, the end of suffering is when you no longer need everything to go your way. When the mind stops demanding, life becomes light. Those who accept life as it is, even in poverty, illness, or loss, can still smile in peace. There was once a monk suffering from leprosy, in terrible pain. Many avoided him, but the Buddha approached, washed his wounds, and cared for him. The monk wept. "Lord, I suffer so much." The Buddha said gently, "This body feels pain, but your mind does not have to suffer. Look deeply into your sensations, and you'll see they arise and pass in every moment." The monk meditated as instructed, and eventually found great peace. This story reveals a profound truth. The body may suffer, but the mind's suffering is optional. Suffering exists to teach us how to let go and to understand. Yet most people do the opposite. The more they hurt, the more tightly they cling. When they lose something, they drown in regret. When betrayed, they feed their anger. When they fail, they sink into shame. But suffering is only a cloud passing across the sky of the mind. If you simply watch, it will fade. If you chase it, it becomes a storm. Someone once asked the Buddha, "How can I stop suffering?" The Buddha replied, "Are you ready to face your pain? Only by facing it can it dissolve. Running away only binds it tighter. Pain, when seen with mindfulness and compassion, becomes medicine. Unseen, it becomes poison." The Buddha never promised a life without pain. He only showed the path. Where there is craving, there is suffering. When craving ends, suffering ends. Craving is not only for material things, it's in every attachment, to praise, to superiority, to love that never changes, to control. But life cannot be controlled. The more we hold on, the more we lose. The more we let go, the freer we become. The wise are not afraid of pain, for they know every wound is a doorway home. Each hardship is a mirror reflecting our own ego, and only by looking into that mirror can we see who we truly are. Suffering doesn't kill us. It kills the illusion of self, so that awakening can be born. So don't ask, "Why do I suffer?" Ask, "What is this pain trying to teach me?" Don't pray for an easier life. Pray for the clarity to walk through it with grace. As the Buddha said, "No one saves you but yourself." Walk on. Be a light unto your own path. The path of transformation. Understanding the root of suffering is only the first step. The greater challenge is learning how to transform it, to turn darkness into light, wounds into wisdom. The Buddha did not stop at saying, "Life is suffering." He also offered humanity a way to end it, the Noble Eightfold Path. These 8 steps calm the mind and brighten life, like a cool stream that extinguishes the inner fire of pain. Most people want to destroy suffering, but suffering cannot be defeated by force or denial. It only dissolves through understanding and love. Like holding a crying child in your arms, you don't silence it, you hold it until it feels safe again. The Buddha taught, "To understand is another name for love." When we understand our own pain, we stop being angry at ourselves. When we understand another's pain, we stop being angry at them. And in that very moment, suffering begins to melt. The path of transformation is not outside of daily life. It is in each breath, each thought, each action. Whenever the mind gives rise to irritation, we have 2 choices: to follow it or to look deeply into it. If we choose to look deeply, we are already walking the Buddha's path. When anger arises, don't speak, don't act. Pause and breathe. Just 3 mindful breaths can soften the fire within. That is the first moment of transformation. Mindfulness doesn't erase pain. It simply helps us see it clearly, so we are no longer controlled by it. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, "Better than conquering 1,000 men in battle is to conquer oneself." Transforming suffering is the greatest victory, for the real enemy lies not outside, but within the mind. Some people spend their whole lives searching for someone to blame for their pain, to accuse, to hate, or to avenge, yet they remain as miserable as before. Only when we realize that those who hurt us are also suffering does the heart open. From that moment, forgiveness becomes a form of awakening. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer letting the past imprison you. Once, a young monk was insulted by another, and full of anger, he went to the Buddha, asking to leave the monastic order. The Buddha asked him, "When someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The monk replied, "To the giver." The Buddha smiled. "Then if you do not accept insults, they remain with the one who spoke them." The young monk understood, bowed, and stayed to continue his practice. This story reminds us, transformation begins with mindfulness of our own reactions. When we stop reacting in haste, When we refuse to let others control our emotions, freedom arises. That freedom is the lotus blooming in the mud of life. Suffering is like a seed in the mind. If watered with hatred, it grows into anger. If watered with understanding, it blossoms into compassion. A true practitioner does not chase suffering away, but tends to it as a gardener tends to young plants. When the mind is still, the light of mindfulness shines through, and suffering slowly transforms into insight. And that insight becomes the foundation of love. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the discourse on the four foundations of mindfulness, the Buddha taught us to observe body, feelings, mind, and phenomena, to recognize suffering in every moment. When pain arises, say, "Hello, my suffering. I know you are here." Simply acknowledging it with a peaceful heart is already halfway to freedom. Mindfulness is the gentle friend that leads us out of confusion. When mindfulness is strong, defilements weaken. When wisdom shines, suffering fades. Those who have sat still through their darkest nights know this truth. Suffering is just a wave, but the mind is the ocean. The wave can rise, crash, and roar, but the ocean remains vast and deep. When we rest in our breath, in the present moment, we realize nothing can truly harm us. For in the deepest layer of our being, our awakened nature is always at peace. The Buddha himself was insulted, slandered, and despised, yet he never blamed anyone. He simply saw, that person is suffering. That one insight was enough to dissolve all hatred. When the heart is full of understanding, suffering has no soil to take root. Like dried mud cannot stain the lotus blooming in sunlight. A true practitioner does not wait for suffering to disappear to find peace. They find peace within suffering. Gratitude, too, is a key to transformation. When we are grateful even for our difficulties, pain loses its power. Be grateful for pain. It teaches patience. Be grateful for loss. It teaches appreciation. Be grateful for failure. It teaches humility. When gratitude blooms, every darkness turns into light. The awakened do not run from suffering, nor do they seek it. They walk through it with the light of mindfulness. They know that the path of awakening is not elsewhere. It lies within their own wounds. Some wounds never fully heal, yet when seen deeply, they become doors to compassion, like cracks in dry earth where the first drops of rain fall. When we transform our suffering, we help others do the same, because the peace of one person spreads to many. A kind word can calm someone's anger. A compassionate smile can dissolve hatred held for years. When we practice, we don't just free ourselves, we plant seeds of peace in the collective consciousness. For as the Buddha taught, no suffering is ever meaningless if we know how to learn from it. When we can sit with our pain, face it, and smile, we are doing what millions cannot. And in that moment, we are no longer victims of suffering. We are its transformation. When we understand suffering, we no longer ask, "How can I escape it?" but rather, "How can I walk with it peacefully?" For on the path of practice, suffering is not an obstacle, but a companion, guiding us to see deeper, love wider, and live more truly. Growing through pain. When we reach the end of suffering's road, we are no longer the same person. We have changed, not because time has passed, but because we have walked through fire without burning, weathered storms while keeping a loving heart. This is the maturity the Buddha spoke of, the ripening of a soul that has learned to look at suffering with the eyes of understanding. When the heart understands, suffering no longer frightens us. It becomes part of life, like night and day, like rain and sunlight. And in every tear, we can hear a quiet laughter within, the laughter of one who knows, suffering is just a passing rain across the field of the heart. People ask, why does the Buddha smile in all circumstances? He smiles not because life has no pain, but because he no longer fears it. Like someone who has learned to swim no longer fears the water, those who understand the way do not fear the waves of life. They know that no matter how high the waves rise, they only dance on the surface. The ocean within remains still and deep. When we understand the nature of suffering, We are no longer swept away by it. When we understand the nature of mind, pain no longer controls us. This is true freedom. Freedom in the very midst of suffering. The awakened do not try to eliminate pain. They learn to live with it peacefully. Like a gardener who does not resent the rain, for rain helps flowers bloom. Every pain carries a role, a message. It comes to show us where the heart is still fragile, where it still clings, where it still fears. If we dare to look directly, without avoidance, we'll see that beneath the wound shines the light of understanding. Once understood, even suffering becomes lovable, for it is the bridge that brings us home to our own peace. A Zen master once asked a student, "Do you know who is the happiest person?" The student said, "The one who never suffers." The master shook his head. "No. The happiest person is the one who has suffered and still keeps a peaceful heart." Happiness is not the absence of pain. It is the ability to smile within it. Those who mature through suffering no longer judge others. They see that everyone is walking their own path, learning the same lessons we ourselves have learned. The heart softens, becomes more loving, less demanding. We realize everyone carries a quiet, hidden pain. So we choose compassion, for only compassion can truly heal this world. Those who have suffered cherish the smallest joys. Those who have lost know what fullness means. Those who have wept understand true peace. And in that moment, we grasp the Buddha's gentle truth. No one can give you peace but yourself. Peace does not come from everything outside going your way. It comes when the heart stops resisting. When we no longer demand life to be different, life becomes gentle. When we stop trying to control everything, things naturally harmonize. Peace is knowing we cannot change the wind, but we can adjust the sails. Then suffering is no longer a burden, but a kind friend teaching us to live more deeply, more truly. As if by a miracle, when the heart stops blaming suffering, suffering has no reason to stay. It dissolves like fog under the sun. We feel light, as if setting down a stone carried for years. We realize suffering was never the enemy, only a teacher wearing dark robes. Look back at your life. The events that seemed to shatter you were often the very turns that helped you grow. A separation taught you how to love rightly. A failure taught you humility and patience. A loss revealed what truly matters. Without suffering, we would sleep forever in the illusion of ease. Thanks to suffering, we learn to awaken. Thanks to awakening, we touch true freedom. Freedom is not escaping circumstances. It is no longer being ruled by them. A person in chains whose heart is at peace is already free. A person in a palace ruled by fear is still a prisoner. Freedom is when we are no longer bound by the past, no longer frightened by the future, and can smile at this very moment, whether it holds sorrow or joy. This is the heart of one who understands the way, peaceful in the storm, smiling through tears, loving even when hurt. They are the lotuses rising from the mud, fragrant in this world. If today you are walking through pain, do not despair. Remember, within every sorrow lies a precious lesson. Do not push it away. Sit down, breathe deeply, and look into it. Let the Buddha's teaching whisper in your heart. Suffering is a profound lesson that helps us grow. Grow through what you go through. One day, the place where you once fell will become the ground where you stand strongest. And the place where you once wept will be where you smile your first smile of awakening. If this Dharma talk touched your heart, please share a comment below about how you have walked through suffering. Your sincere words can become a gentle light for someone else. Click like to plant a wholesome seed. Subscribe to Buddha's loving words to listen to more of the Buddha's deep teachings. And share this video with those who may need a lantern in life's dark night. Together, let us cultivate peace, so that suffering is no longer a shadow, but becomes the light of awakening.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for supporting Buddha's loving words. May the teachings of the Buddha continue to touch every heart, bringing peace and happiness.